What is up guys, Johnny Cooper here, and if you're subscribed to GameStop's emails, you most likely got a Crash Bandicoot email from them. In here they confirm how meaty and lengthy Crash Bandicoot 4 will be. All new game, full sequel with 100 and plus levels of play, new game modes, and new abilities for innovative gameplay. So I knew the game had to be way bigger than the whole trilogy itself, since for example each game featured only 25 main levels with like 5 to 6 bonus levels in there, which was only good at its time, back in the 90s to early 20s. However, times have changed, games have grown much more bigger than it was before. Those amounts of levels are just not good enough in today's era. Toys for Bob is going beyond and making the game have more levels than Crash 1, 2, and 3 combined, plus adding a lot of cutscenes with story in it. Now, you won't be able to play as Crash for all those 100 and plus levels from what I've gathered. With the addition of Crash Bandicoot and Coco, who have the same moveset and work the same, we get the other side of the coin, which is Cortex, where you'll be playing as him to destroy Crash's plans by destroying towers and whatnot, so Crash won't be able to cross that road when you play as him. Cortex's levels will count the 100 and plus thingy that they mentioned. Activision has said during a Q&A, will the villains we've seen in the trilogy appear in the game? Yes, in this latest installment, you must stop Neo Cortex, Entropy, and other evil forces from taking over the world and the entire multiverse. Along the way, you can take control of the fiendish Neo Cortex as well as other fan-favorite characters during certain circumstances and gain an alternative perspective on how our Bandicoot heroes are saving the world. So they say fan-favorite characters, and the way they worded it, it seems like it's a third story. Like we get Crash, Coco, then Cortex, and then these fan-favorite characters. Now I think we'll be getting 2 fan-favorite characters, so it can make up the whole 4-player thing with Crash and Coco. But then again, it feels like these characters' stories are not like fully connected with Crash Bandicoot and Coco's story. Maybe it's like their own side quest or journey, but I could be wrong. But I mean, they also said it will only be in certain circumstances, so I guess the 4-player thing is out of the equation. These 2 fan-favorite characters I think will join is Crunch Bandicoot and Tawna. Tawna because we already saw her in this picture swinging a rope, which is what you do in game. And Crunch because after the post Naughty Dog era, Crunch was the 3rd main character, so I feel like they're going to be reintroducing him and doing that whole thing again. Maybe Crunch escaped during Cortex's experiments, and when you play as him, you'll be escaping and eventually do his own thing and then meeting up with Crash during the final act of the game. Of course, Crunch has never met Crash Bandicoot in Crash Bandicoot 4, like this is like a whole new thing, so they're going to have to reintroduce this whole like Crunch's origin. While Tawna Bandicoot is going to be doing her pirate stuff and eventually does the same thing as Crunch Bandicoot. Or maybe you'll be playing the levels that Crash was, but it's like the aftermath they did, since it did say you'll gain an alternative perspective on how the Bandicoot heroes save the world. And again, during certain circumstances, which means these fan favorite characters won't have a huge playable role like Crash, Coco, and Cortex. While Crunch and Tawna are heroes, they could also be doing 2 fan favorites for their antagonists. Like we could possibly be playing as Dingodile, since we do see him in the screenshot. It will be cool to spit fire with his flamethrower and play as him, because I do like his character a lot. Or we could possibly be playing as Nina, since many people like Twinsanity, and we could be playing as her with that moveset that she had in that game, making 2 heroes and 2 villains as fan favorites. If it comes to just 1 for each team, it will be Tawna and Dingodile, just because they're actually in this picture, and also because they're actually together in this Numbskull merchandise. Coincidence? I don't think so. While Crash and Coco are paired together in here, Cortex is paired with Engine as well. So while we do see Engine as a boss battle in the game trailer, it doesn't stop him from being a playable character just like Cortex, because Cortex is a playable character, but I do know we'll eventually fight him in the game towards the final act if he is the final boss battle. So in conclusion, for how I think it's going to work, Crash and Coco will be the same story. Cortex and Engine will have their own villain story as well, you know, they're going to be working together. It's going to be like Crash and Coco for them. While Tawna and Dingodile will only be playable in certain circumstances, but will have different stories. So all these characters will have their own unique levels, making up 100 and plus levels. I guess Crash will be like 60%, while Cortex is 40, and the fan favorite characters are like 10%, making up 100 and plus. That will make the game's $60 justified. Also, back to the 4 playable character thing, I think after a long time of thinking, this whole thing will be like a Crash Bash mini type of thing that has nothing to do with the game. It's just like a party game, only to enjoy with your family by adding more content to the game. Anyways, what do you guys think of these 100 and plus levels? It's honestly amazing that this game is just going to be very meaty and action packed. I really like that. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.